Welcome to the Sports Club, a brand new podcast from the Jamaica Observer. I'm Daniel Blake. Thank you so much for joining me. This is the Post Heroes Day edition and also Heritage Month edition. And we'll be talking about some Jamaican sporting icons, but with a little twist, which I'll explain very shortly. Today, my guest is Digital Sports Coordinator at the Jamaica Observer, Rashid Parchment. Rashid, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me. You know, we've known each other like, 11 years now? And this is the first time our paths have crossed on camera.
11 years. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. 11 years. Wow.
Yeah.
But today we are going to be discussing Jamaican sporting icons, but we're going to do it with a little twist. So by that we mean we're going to talk about some that may be regarded as underrated or maybe not rated highly enough. So you won't hear us talking about people like Usain Bolt, Shelley and Fraser Price, etc. We're going to give you 4 people who we think deserve more accomplishments and praise in this. So we're going to start with you, Rashid. You're very first, and then we're going to alternate and discuss. So, number 1 for you.
All right, I wouldn't say number 1. I'm just giving out names.
Yes.
In no order. But let's go black and white. We're going to start in the days by way gone.
All right.
A lot of people probably won't know this name, especially if you're very young. And a lot of people might have to Wikipedia this name. Lloyd Lindbergh de la Pena. You know, Matt?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So when we talk about Jamaica's best footballers, we always hear about, these days you hear whether Leon Bailey is one of them. You hear about Luton Shelton and, of course, Walter Boy, those people. But we have to talk about pioneers. Mm-hmm. I mean, Lindy De La Pena did not play for Jamaica internationally, not from what I saw from my research anyway. But he's a pioneer in that he's the first Jamaican and the first black player to go abroad and play in England in the English First Division, and the first black player to win the English First Division as a Jamaican. And he wasn't just another member of that team. He was a striker and he was prolific for Middlesbrough, for Portsmouth, and there are a couple, Plymouth, Argyle. And he scored a lot of goals for them. He was a part of the British Army and he did well over there, came back to Jamaica. And you know, back in those days, when you're a sportsman, it doesn't just mean you're a footballer. He played a lot of other sports because in my research, I found that he represented Woolmer's year old school at Champs in 16 different events, and he played cricket as well and some other sports.
He played golf as well, which is why I think there's a major tournament named after him as well.
Right. Mm-hmm. So when you're thinking about true sportsmen, his name has to be mentioned. And when you think about for any young footballer coming up in Jamaica right now, in the Jamaica Premier League or even below that, the idea is to get a contract abroad. And Lindy De La Pena opened the door for many to think about that, to go abroad and get a different, earn more for your family and for yourself and put your name out there. So he was the first to do it, and he really was the first one to pave that road for Jamaican footballers. So I have to go with him.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned 11 years together because when we were at Carrimack, I remember Faye Ellington, one of our lecturers at the time, she was the first person who told us about Lindy De La Pena. And before that, I've never heard of this man. And I remember Googling him and I said, this man did everything. And he's not like one of those people who just, was just an ordinary man who just tried every sport. He excelled at every sport he did.
And you mentioned that you didn't know him, but I remember, I'm probably going to age myself now, but I remember when he, as journalists ourselves, he really paved the path for us too, outside of competitive sports, but as sports journalists, because he came back and he really built that whole arena for sports journalists here. And I knew him before I knew him as a sportsman. When I was a little child, I knew him from Morning Time on TVJ, what's now Smile Jamaica TVJ. I knew him from that co-hosting with Faye Ellington. And I used to watch him there, and that's how I first knew about him. And my father said, you know that he plays golf, and you know that he played football. I was like, oh, okay. So that is when I started really know about him.
Yeah, showing your age. I never even know Sophia used to just smile in the mouth.
Yeah.
All right, so
your turn, I guess.
My first. Very modern, but Ricardo Gardner.
Okay.
The reason why I say that is, one, as a teenager, making the World Cup squad. Right. And even though he went there somewhat controversially, but because some people believe that, at the time, who should have
Gregory Messam.
Yeah, Gregory Messam should have been the starting left back. But after that, he joins Bolton.
Yeah.
He was a regular at Bolton as a Jamaican teenager, never been done before.
Yeah.
Gets promoted to the Premier League and played over 10 seasons in the Premier League.
Yeah.
He was a regular for Bolton. Played 2 seasons in the UEFA Cup, now the Europa League.
Right.
And also, even though he didn't, help Jamaica get back to the World Cup, Bibi was what like Andre Blake is now. It's hard to fault Andre Blake because every game, every performance, he seems to be like man of the match. That was Bibi, in that he barely had any faults. He was always producing, and whether it was left back, central midfield, whatever.
Right, left wing as well.
Yeah, Bibi, in my opinion, helped to open the door for other Jamaicans to get into Europe, because at the time, when he got to Bolton and Sam Allardyce was like, no man, we need to find somebody else.
Yeah.
And end up finding Teddy Johnson. Teddy obviously didn't last very long, but Teddy ended up getting a long career with Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then people started to say, all right, who are these other Jamaicans who we can get to England? So you had Pepe Goodison, who eventually got there. Whitmore got there with Hull City. Shelton with Sheffield United.
Donovan Ricketts to play for Bradford at one point.
So even though there came a period where, there weren't a lot of Jamaicans playing in England at one point because our FIFA rankings had fallen and so forth.
Right.
Bibi was an established member of a Premier League team. It's not like he was just riding the bench and he was just in the reserves or anything like that. He was a consistent player for Bolton who at one point were finishing mid-table or in the top 10 on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So I think that somebody like that should be spoken about much higher.
And I'd add to that to say, Bibi was from that generation where the reggae boys became celebrities. And I think he was one of the key celebrities in that team because, first of all, he went to Bolton for, I think they signed him for £1 million. And that was big news here.
Especially for Harborview.
When, as I mentioned with Lindy, when youngsters think about wanting to be a footballer, think about wanting to go to the highest level. And Bibi was that poster boy for a lot of Jamaican youngsters. They look and say, yo, me can drive a Range Rover to one day. If maybe I live this lifestyle, I can go and do that. And when I used to talk to my friends in England about the Premier League and we talk about Jamaican footballers, the first name that came to mind for them was Ricardo Gardner. Because he wasn't, as you say, he was not just a player, but he was an explosive player. He was a very entertaining player to watch. And he just grabbed the eye. So yeah, good selection.
Thank you. All right, you're second.
All right, let's switch genders a bit. So it's tricky to pick a woman because I think that, and I'm going to bash the historians a bit, it's hard to find information on a lot of Jamaican female athletes and a lot of athletes from the black and white era, as I like to call it, because when you go on the internet to try to research them, you hear names, but you don't really see their plaudits and what their claim to fame might have been. Their statistics are that it don't really exists on the internet. So I was thinking about the track and field athletes because normally when you think about a female athlete in Jamaica, you think two sports, track and field, netball. But why I wouldn't go to a track athlete is that, you have Merlin Atty, who was Jamaica's first really big superstar as a female in track and field. And you think about Dion Hemmings, who was our first gold medalist at the Olympics. But everyone that came after her, I think they got the respect they deserved. I think because you think of the medals they won, and if you go online and say something about any one of them, the internet tear you apart for them. So I think they respect it. So I'm not going to name a track and field athlete here. I'm going netball. And I'm going with probably, you'd probably think it's a little obvious choice, but Janelle Fowler Reid. Well, Janelle Fowler.
Yes.
As the Sunshine Girls captain.
Yes.
She's done so much to lift the brand, and she's led the team to successes. Now, success is relative because you think that the team wants to win that elusive gold medal. They haven't done it yet, but she's led them to a couple of silvers in Fastnet and the World Netball Cup, the World Cup. But she's been an exemplary captain. She knows how to handle media well. She's well spoken, and she is regarded as one of the best in her sport. So when you think about if you think about netball like football, and you think about the key players in football, Kylian Mbappe, Lionel Messi, and all that. In respect to netball, Janelle Fowler is the player. She's regarded as like a Messi in that sport. So for her to come from Jamaica and do that, I don't think she gets enough credit. When last you see Janelle in an ad on TV, when you see her on a billboard or anything like that, I don't think she's gotten those plaudits from corporate Jamaica or from just overall from the government. We don't see any accolades like that for her. And I think that's why I want to highlight her here.
Yeah, and it's even funny you say that, because if you go on Janiel's page or you watch Australian media, Janiel is being used as one of the poster girls for the Australian League down there, the Super Corp League. And she's broken record after record after record. And, I think it was maybe 2 years ago when she had won the championship down there, she had broken the record and she wasn't nominated for Sportswoman of the Year. And I'm just like, we have a Jamaican woman who is literally the best netball player in the world.
Yeah.
And has been for maybe like 3-4 years.
Yeah.
And she's just, not in your thoughts?
Yeah.
But you're going to give somebody who may have made a world championship final and probably finished fourth. I mean, and I'm not saying that achievement is to be mocked or anything, but we literally have a player who is the best in their sport and has been doing it on a consistent level. So, I can't fault you.
Something you said about Bibi that applies to her too. If you look at the Sunshine Girls team right now, about 7 or 8 of them are playing in Australia. Mm-hmm. And she, and as well as Romelda Aiken, they're the ones that really put the attention on Jamaica, that there are quality players coming out of Jamaica. And because of what they did in Suncorp Super Netball, the scouts over there decided to come and check out Jamaica and see what's going on here. And it's paid off for both Jamaican team and the league over there. So Janelle is the reason for that. So big up to Janelle.
All right. Now, my second is one of those hear me outs, especially with the point that you made earlier. Elaine Thompson here.
Okay.
And I explain this because even though she's had some difficult moments throughout her career, and, the changing of coaches, maybe not getting enough world championship medals as, people expect her to do.
Yeah.
But to win back-to-back gold medals in the 100 and 200 in 2016 and 2021.
Yeah.
If she were to retire after 2021, I think she would have been like a national icon. Like, she would need an OJ, in my opinion, because to do something like that, I mean, because we've gotten so used to success with VCB in 04, Shelley in 08 and 2012, for Elaine to do it, and to do it in a style where she made us believe that Flojo's record was catchable.
Yeah.
Doing 10.54 after the Olympics, doing, 21.53, and everybody started to saying, well, maybe Flojo's record is in reach. That is something that has never been thought of before. Obviously, Sharika is showing that she can get close to that once she's fit.
Yeah.
But I think Elaine doing that, as well as getting the gold medals, I mean, yes, she is rated, but I think she should be spoken about in the same sense as Shelley and Bolt in terms of strictly achievements.
You mean she need a statue?
I mean, I'm not a fan of statues because statues don't look good to me. I don't.
Okay.
Ever since he won in Emancipation Park, I don't like statues. I don't like statues. But I think her achievement is one of the greatest in sports in general.
Yeah.
And I don't think she gets enough credit for it because of what has been happening maybe over the last 4 or 5 years with the change of coach, other stories we've heard and those type of things.
Yeah. What I would say is that her career is not yet done, because we hear that she might be moving on back to MVP track club. So, and I think that, in my opinion, she left MVP too early because she was a 600th of a second off the world record. And I thought if anybody can get her there, it would have been Stephen Francis. And now that she may be heading back there, we may be talking about her. We could be talking about her as a world record holder in maybe a couple of years. So if that happens, then there's no doubt that she is you have to mention her as one of the GOATs. But even without that, she is is in her own right an icon. You can't dispute that. When you think about if Shelly is here, Ilian is here with her. I think.
A lot of Jamaicans will disagree with that though. But anyways, yeah. So number 3.
I'll stay in track and field this time, and I'm going black and white again. And I can guarantee a lot more people not going to know about him, and that is why he's here. I'm talking about Mr. George Roden. Why you look like that?
No, I can't disagree with you.
Yeah, because when we hear about Olympics and Jamaica's first medals, we hear about Arthur Wint, of course. We hear about Herb McKinley, of course. You know, Arthur Wint has a road named after him. Herb McKinley has a statue, has a meat named after him. But what about George Roden? And even to a lesser extent, Les Leng, another member. You think about four people to run a relay team, and it's only 2 names you hear. And again, I'm beating the statisticians for that, because even in researching to come here, I couldn't find enough information on this guy. And I know about him. I just think that history has disrespected this man so much. He's a former world record holder. Arthur Wint is Jamaica's first Olympic individual gold medalist. But right after that Olympics in 1948, in 1952, George Roden came as a world record holder, ran the 400 meters and won gold there. And he was a member of that 1948 team that won the gold medal. And we just don't talk about him. He died in August. And he was just another name. A lot of younger people have no idea who this guy was or what he meant to Jamaican track and field. You can't think about a bigger pioneer. And I'd say, where is his statue? You know, you don't like statues, but where is his statue? Just for the sake of it, where is his statue? Where the road they fame? A track meet, nothing for the man. I think it's disrespectful.
And I think that's, on a separate point with the statisticians and so forth. I think.
Yeah. I don't even know which high school he represented. It's not there.
Didn't George go to Calabar? I'm trying to remember, but in that
we know for sure that Herb went to Calabar. We do know for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons why the sports museum will kind of be important, because a lot of the things that we hear is word of mouth.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons why our children or this generation and our future generation will only think about those, in the 2000 or late 90s, because, there's more
the internet age
accessible. But when you think about people like George Roden and Arthur Wint and those people, they are the reasons why, the likes of Usain Bolt existed, because they made it possible for Jamaicans to be recognized in track and field. So yeah, that's a good shout. I can't fault you. My third is somebody who gives himself a lot of credit, but I don't think gets enough.
I think I know where you're going with this.
The universe boss.
Oh, okay. I had a different name in mind, but
Gale.
okay.
No.
When you said give himself a lot of credit, my mind just
calling yourself the universe boss shows that you give yourself a lot of credit. But even though the last maybe decade, 15 years, he was the T20 king.
Yeah.
Like once you got the wicket of Chris Gale, you know that, all right, we can relax now.
Yeah.
Because Gale was just a monster at T20.
Yeah.
Winning 2 World Cups and all. But a lot of people forget that Gale was a very good or a more than average player in Test cricket and ODI cricket. The reason why him have restaurant called Triple Century and have 333 back is because he did 333 runs in a single innings.
Only Lara surpassed that, I think.
No, I think
in
West Indies, yes. To get a triple century in Test cricket is almost, I won't say impossible because people have done it.
Yeah.
But it is very hard to do.
Yeah.
I think there are maybe like 10 or 11 in the history who have done it, and Gale being one of them. He also was a very good ODI player as an opener, helped the West Indies to 2 ICC Champions Trophy.
Yes.
And I think because of the whole narrative about T20 cricket, it kind of skews a lot of our opinions of our players, saying that, they never play 3 formats, so they're not great cricketers.
Yeah.
But Gale actually proved that he could do it at all 3 levels. It's just that him just want to start make some money
Yeah.
and do it at the T20 level. But this was a man who averaged almost 15 test cricket. He had like, I think 15 centuries and 37 half centuries. This man was a prolific batsman. And obviously, you might have people like Courtney Walsh and Michael Holding, who people may view as better Jamaican cricketers as Gale. But this man dominated, in my view, in all three formats, which I don't think a lot of people can do, especially in this day and age.
Yeah. And I think for the purists, a lot of them think of T20 cricket as ruining cricket. And I think a lot of people see Chris Gayle as the poster boy for leading, not my words, but leading young cricketers astray to think that they don't want to play test cricket. They want to go straight to T20 and make big bucks, because they see T20 as big bucks, and they think that if a youngster wants to play T20, he's deserting the true essence of cricket, which is playing all three formats and giving test cricket focus. So a lot of people may see Chris Gayle as the reason why a lot of people are motivated to go after the big bucks. But I see no problem with that. I mean, it's a job for them. They have to raise families and they have to pay the bills. So I see nothing wrong with that. And Chris has become an icon for cricket in Jamaica, and he's put cricket on the map in Jamaica in a new way, where youngsters see cricket as something that is not just your father's pastime anymore. You can gain a celebrity status out of it, and you can use it to go on and do other things after cricket. Make your businesses, go into music, or just be a celebrity in your own right.
Yeah. All right. Almost out of time, but we have to get to our number fours. Your fourth.
Theodore Tapper Whitmore. We're not going to spend too long on it, but when we were talking before we started rolling, I talked about disrespect, and I don't think Theodore Tapper Whitmore gets enough respect from the Jamaican people. Theodore Tapper Whitmore has been an excellent footballer for Jamaica, represented Jamaica well in the 98 World Cup qualifying campaign, and then at the 98 World Cup, dragging Jamaica to its first ever win at a World Cup finals. The only time it has ever happened until the Reggae Girls did it the other day against Panama. But scoring 2 goals in the World Cup finals, not the World Cup final, but the World Cup finals, the tournament against Japan. And he came back and coached the team and did well as a coach. I don't think a lot of coaches can match him in terms of statistics and win rate. He's won a Caribbean Cup, both as a player and coach, and he's gone to the Gold Cup final. And I think if Andre Britt didn't break his hand against the US in the final in 2017, we would have been talking about Jamaica's Gold Cup champions that year. And Theodore Whitmore was responsible for that. And I thought the brand of football they were playing was not bad. It's just that over time he lost the dressing room because of civil wars and all that between the team. But I thought Jamaica did well with him. And it's hard to find another local coach who has done what Theodore Whitmore has done, has the knowledge he has, and he's playing the football he has. I just don't think he gets the respect he deserves, because people still see him as this man from Mobile who play football and come up and do him thing and go about in business. Even the way Mount Pleasant treated him after he finished in the final at the JPL last season, finished as runners-up, because he didn't win the title again, he didn't get a new contract. I know they're back for him. And if you look at how the public was extremely critical of him, as opposed to his successor, Heimer Hallgrimsson, I think if Whitmore was from South America or Europe, his name was Whitmorio, Theodore Whitmorio, they would have given him a lot more respect. And I just think it's really unfair how we do Whitmore. We talk about Whitmore. Whitmore, we can't about that. We don't worry about Whitmore. But Whitmore can hold his own against any other international coach Jamaica has had in the last 20 years.
Yeah, his record speaks for itself. So I can't even argue with that.
Yeah.
My fourth, Alia Atkinson.
And I thought you would go there. But I don't agree. But go ahead.
Let me just start by saying this. There was a survey done recently, and 75% of Jamaicans living in Jamaica right now can't swim.
Yeah, true. Me included.
To have this young black woman who made the Olympic team at 15,
right,
to reach a stage where people were cussing Alia because she never won a medal.
Yeah, in 2016.
In 2012 and 2016.
Yeah.
In 2012, she finished 4th, and 2016, people start cussing her because them say, oh, she's just like a Safa, she's struggling on the next stage.
Yeah, and they say she's only a short pool swimmer.
But can you imagine, we have an athlete who has broken multiple world records, short course or long course, it don't matter.
Yeah.
She break world records.
Yeah.
She competed against the best in the world. Some people regard them as legends in the sport. And we have a Jamaican woman to do that.
Yeah.
I don't think people truly understand the significance of it. She is like, I don't even know how to say it, but she is literally the pioneer of swimming in Jamaica. And
Yeah.
I'm not trying to, because we know of Janelle Atkinson who started it, but
Yeah.
Alia made people realize that black people, one, can
Yeah.
swim, Caribbean people can swim,
Yeah.
and Jamaican people can swim.
Yeah.
It's, to me, her achievements are just incredible. And the fact that we have somebody who has done that on a consistent basis. She never just go Olympics for Olympics' sake like a lot of our athletes who
Yeah.
qualify. And yeah, we're proud of them. But she was actually contending for a medal for
Yeah.
at least 3 Olympic Games. To me, special.
I agree with everything you said, but where I disagree is that I think she has been recognized because she's gotten a national award and she's been named Sportswoman of the Year before.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think if...
But the public, you're talking about the public
Yeah.
now. Okay.
I mean, yeah, because there are a lot of people who get national awards, but
Yeah.
aren't really recognized like that. I
Okay.
mean, Ali, I can walk in the street right now and people just walk right past her. When
Right.
that is one of the greatest swimmers the world
Of
has
all
ever
time.
seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah. So Alia is my number 4. So I mean, our lists were pretty good.
I can't knock any of your choices.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we should do a overrated or underrated in future editions, but
I like the overrated one, but it talk up, it's gain us a lot of enemies though.
yeah, me don't want to get cancelled. Rashid, thank you so much for joining me. I
as always.
appreciate it. All right, this was the Sports Club brought to you by the Jamaica Observer. Please ensure that you watch us on all the channels on the Jamaica Observer, on YouTube and on Instagram. Please stay tuned and join us for another edition.
That is it.